Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monte, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trident Wargaming. I'm your host Bill. I'm joined with my co-host Andy.
Hey guys.
What's going on? What's going on? Another Horus Heresy episode coming at you guys. This one is New Legion, Who This? So, kicking off, I guess, some new hobby progress. There's been a lot of turmoil on my part anyways.
Which has spread over to me.
It's just wild, yeah. I ended up really having a little bit of the new model FOMO. I was missing out. Looking at all the kits, everyone's posting pictures of all their new stuff. I'm still toiling away with my MK4-5 word bearers, and I was just like, oh man, I really want to build an army. I want to feel that hype. I want to ride the wave, and I just, everything was built. I was just kind of painting, slugging it through. So I just decided, you know what, just fuck it, jump in and try and pop it off with our slow grow. Right? It's I'm a little bit behind, but I've got some time. I can try and catch up and get ready for the next phase, but more on that later. But yeah, it's been Imperial Fists City over here. Lots of building, a little bit of test model painting. Pretty happy with it so far, and I know Andy's been going deep.
Been dabbling in the magics with the Thousand Suns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it's been an interesting journey so far, especially with not only learning the army, but also modeling and conversions with the miniatures and the paint schemes and trying new things out too, right? As me and Bill always, go back and forth, talk daily on just tons of hobby stuff, and especially with paints right now, especially with like contrast paints.
Yep.
Which has been insanely, surprisingly awesome as of late. So yeah, with that, like it's, I don't know, it feels like a whole new kind of era, I guess, maybe for minis and heresy and just options for working on your armies and whatnot, right? So
Absolutely.
Especially like you mentioned before. Earlier with these new sets, there's so many good new sets coming out in plastic that like we pretty much bought the main box set and it's just been sitting idle, right? Like
Yeah,
we have so much,
right on the floor.
Yeah, we have so much heresy stuff as it is, and it's like, okay, well, this is the original plan. Okay, going to use MK3 for Thousand Suns. Do all the trimming, all that stuff, whatever, right? And then Bill goes and ruins that whole project with converted MK6. But, that aside, we've been seeing a lot of that online. And it's crazy the amount of conversions that people are doing, right? People aren't even waiting for like the close combat sets to come out. They've just been going hard. You see World Eaters, all kitted out, right? And it's like, wow, this is great. This is awesome, right? Yeah.
There's some big hype in the community right now, I think, with just everything being so new. The kits, they're dropping all the teasers on Thursdays, getting us all ready. They're dropping, little weekender nuggets here and there, like the Nova Open. They had more stuff. They're dropping teasers all over the place. So I think there's just a big wave of hype rolling for Heresy 2.0. It's only going to get better, I think, honestly, because everyone's just building up their forces and just getting ready. It's going
to be crazy because, like, beginning of the year had finished the White Scars, right? and it's all Forge World stuff and whatnot. And having all these new plastic kits coming out, plastic Sakarans, right? What's next? Plastic jet bikes, all this stuff coming out, and I'm just like, oh, man, plastic kit central. And I feel the need to like replace some of my previous kits, right? Just blow them out, whatever, and then replace them with these plastic kits because they're just it's so much better in my opinion, especially with the options that they're giving. Like look at the Leviathan Dreadnought.
Yeah,
right.
No doubt.
And the nice thing is, a lot of these sets, they're the generic, Astartes set, right? So there's a lot of blank panels on these sets, and I guarantee you, a lot of these artists out there, a lot of these guys who do conversions, a lot of these guys who do the green stuff, they're going to do their work on these blank canvases, and you're going to see all that come to life, on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. And it's crazy. Like, we've already been seeing it, right?
Yeah.
So what's the gentleman there that does all the green stuff work that you chat with a fair bit there? He was here in Edmonton a while back. He wasn't didn't know he was here until like you seen some posts of his.
Mike Fellhand there on
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy's a wizard with green stuff, milli putt, making these custom like thematic bases and whatnot. It's insane. Taking a peek, online and just checking out his work. I'm tempted to try and get on the next like purchase train just for one of the bases because he puts so much time into it. It looks awesome. It's just
But again, like with these open surfaces, like you're going to see a lot happening. You're going to see these custom Spartans and custom dreadnoughts and whatnot, and even just the Marines, the MK6 Marines themselves. Just between me and Bill, we've already, you can take a look at the thumbnail just from this episode, and already, Bill's been using some of the older bits from the Imperial Fists, right? Yeah. And then, of course, you mix in a couple of other stuff in there, and then myself, and you'll see down the road, kind of making the early Rubric Marines for 1,000 Suns out of the MK6 armor, and mixing some of the, some 40k parts, not all of them, but also using the Forge World heads and stuff to make these Marines. And they just, to me, like I was telling Bill, I don't know if I can go back. I don't know if I can go back to MK4 and MK3 armor, those sets, right? The MK6 armor, they're so nice. I wish that they would possibly, obviously not right now, but possibly in the future, remake the MK4 and MK3, to upgrade to that level. So.
Yeah. No, it'd be great. I know there's rumors floating around that it was going to be MK2, MK5. We'll see. I don't know. Like, both of those make me happy. I'm pretty stoked about that. But
MK2, yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. MK3, 4, obviously in that new scale would be sweet as well. It's just that was one of the main reasons I didn't want to have too much kind of model bleed between the two different styles. I want to keep my word bearers very specific. With just MK4, 5, and keep this Fists army relatively new with all MK6. That's kind of what spurred me cutting up that Imperial Fist Deathwatch Marine and just pretty much using his torso and gluing him into a set of MK6 legs, right? Just to try and keep the aesthetic, and he looks badass. It's the Castellan conversion. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff kind of on the go with that. It's exciting times because there's a lot of stuff happening, so there's a lot of posts, a lot of pictures coming out. It's going to be great.
Lots of activity. Yeah. Which is super awesome. And especially, locally here, there's been a lot of new individuals who have, like, jumped on the crazy train and have gone full bore. Like there's some guys who have like completed, painted, 750 points of Marines and stuff, if not more, already.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, holy smokes, went hard, right? And they're looking great, especially when you see them on the board and you see those rivalries on the board, right? So it's the passion is there. The players are there because we've had a big influx of players, and it's been great. Because like every slow grow meeting that we've had so far, game day, I should say, not meeting. We've had what I'm going to say 12, 14 plus.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we started our very first one around 12, and then I know it's just gone up from there. It hovers, between 13 to 15 players, depending on who's coming. And considering like our pool for people in the actual league is large, but we had 21 people kind of buy in for this particular slow grow, which is kind of cool. It's going to be very exciting to see the armies progress. I guess we can kind of talk about that a little bit more in detail now. Essentially, the slow grow became a project in way to help like grow our local scene and produce a crop of players that can play good games. Everyone's playing together, so everyone's interpreting the rules together. We're all talking about it. Kind of like you got a whole group of people that are essentially all learning together, and you guys are all able to play with really no big issues or hiccups coming up. Everything is the same for interpretation's sake, which is nice. So the slow grow is 4 phases that we ended up doing, and the first phase starts at 750 points, and you build up incrementally each phase, and you add an extra 750 onto it, so to 1500, 2250, and then 3k. The nice thing about it is there's 2 months per phase. So you're giving about 8 months total to get a 3k army painted. You're going to be playing all the book missions, playing through twice because, we're essentially trying to get 4 games in per phase. So it's a lot of opportunity for games, a lot of tinkering, clinking through the rules, and just a lot of stuff comes up. We've thrown in some doubles in there as well, which has been nice.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat at this moment too. Like the hunger for heresy is there because guys, there's a few guys trying to get in like 2 games every time we meet up.
Yeah,
right, back to back, which is pretty cool. And then we have some other players who are literally like have just got back into this style of game. They were they used to play 40k way back when, and they got out of it, and now that Heresy's here, and a couple buddies have been playing. Some of them have jumped in and kind of relearning the game, right? So it takes a little bit longer, but you can see the enjoyment. You can see, the thrive to learn the game and the mechanics, and there's lots of questions, and just having a good time, having a good laugh, kicking my butt kind of thing every time I play, against somebody. Haven't won yet with 1,000 Suns, mind you. So magic is fickle. Psychic powers, but
see what happens when you have faith in the warp.
Yeah. But even for myself, like veteran player of first edition, there's just some little rules that creep up, like, and you're like, huh, they changed that too, right? Like almost everything that comes up, you're literally like, you got to go check it out, because there's probably 90% chance they changed it, right? GW has changed it, and it's like, huh, that's pretty cool, right? So, but it's fun. It's hella fun. I'm super stoked and super happy, and seeing these guys play and come out, and you kind of know the players by face from other communities and whatever. Meetups and stuff, but then when you're actually there together playing, you get to talk with each other, and you found that common interest of heresy, and it's the best thing out there for gamers, right? So, and everybody's been really, really awesome. So
It's been good that way for sure. The nice thing too is we've got a little bit of a incentive built into the league, the way it works. So the goal is to be fully painted
yeah,
and have your army fully painted at the end of each phase. Once you hit the end mark, so at the end of September here, it's our end phase. We're going to actually be calculating all the names, put all the names into pretty much a pot. We'll have a loyalist one and a trader one, and essentially we're going to draw names. And people who are completed get to enter to win a $25 gift card to one of the local stores here. And we're going to redo that every phase. So you have a chance to win 4 times just for painting your models and playing games, which is nice because everybody gets a chance, right? They're all working towards a goal, and you're still getting in-game experience as well. So it's kind of like it's a twofer, right? Like you're growing a community, you're getting players coming out, and then you're also getting everybody fully painted. So that's when the real shit kind of pops off, right? You start taking some pretty epic looking pictures. You're creating a story. It creates that next level of immersion when everything's done. It's pretty sweet to be able to share that with everybody, and be able to like show that online too. Show like the local communities thriving, because I've been seeing a lot of it on different pages. It's nice, This has kind of come about, this league idea. We've ran previous ones before, and it was always kind of like, hey, we'll meet up every 2 weeks. Here's your opponent. Here's the mission. Like, it's a big, broad post for everybody. And we kind of just have everyone show up, and people just pair up. There's no real set intent to, like, who you're going to play. If you can, trader loyalist, great. If you can't, doesn't matter. Just get dice rolling, have fun. It's good.
And the nice thing too is, we in the community, we kind of know the players, right? And we also kind of ask around, talk to the players too, like, how many games have you had? Or, are you fairly new to Heresy? And if that's the case, like, we'll pair them up with an experienced player who's already had a whole bunch of number of games underneath their belt. And just to share that good experience and be like, hey, you know what? So-and-so is new. He's only had like 2 games under his belt. Just play, help each other out, and have a good time, learn some stuff, right? So, I've been throwing it down with our buddy Hal for the last 3-4 matches and getting him playing and kind of up to speed, and it's good because I can see the progression. I can already see that everything's he's catching on to things and whatnot, and he's having a blast with it, right? He's really enjoying it. So. And of course, playing with your close buddies is one of the best things out there too, right? So, it's great. It's good times for all, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
But and that's the thing too. Is there's just I had this thought in my head too, and playing at the different point levels that we're playing at, like we're at 750 at the moment, and we're just going to be finishing that off, and then we're going into 1500, right?
Yep.
The game itself, like the points levels, in a sense, kind of changes the game a little bit. It's a different game. You have a little bit more toys to play with. There's a little bit more little combos that you could come up with. You can start to unlock things a little bit. You can bring your Praetor if you want. You start using some Rights of War, that kind of thing. And that's gonna happen almost every phase, right? So the next point level, it's gonna happen again. And then once you're at 3000, you're gonna be like, holy smokes, this is a completely different game compared to what we started with, right?
Oh,
and I've already heard that from some of our other friends that have been playing full-size games. So it's going to be interesting to see the armies when they fully commit to an actual force and see what people are bringing. It's going to be interesting to see some of the meta and how it changes, and how some guys are determined not to go that route and break it, almost in a sense, right? not everybody's going to take that 10-man squad of las cannons kind of thing, right?
No,
Well, I
you're
am,
not.
but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but I have little tricksy parts with my magics about that. So,
I can say I'm not.
no, I know you're not. You're the breaker.
I'm trying to go against the grain. I'm trying to do something a little bit kind of radical with my slow grow army. Like everyone's rocking dreads, everyone's rocking good packs of infantry. Some long range weapons like glass cannons will wreck my day. It'll be sad times, but
In the early stages,
yeah, it is
right?
what it is, right? I want to really concentrate Imperial Fists. I want to bring the DACA, right? I'm trying to bring assault cannons everywhere, just because it's a Legion upgrade I get. It's something special, unique to them. Can make the army look really cool. Try play with that a little bit, but I also want to have an answer for dreads. I want to have
Yeah.
something where, like, no, I'm gonna reliably kill a dread a turn, and that's not just like, oh no, like it's gonna die. A dread or a Spartan or something, it will die. It'll happen. So, I'm saving that. I'm holding that one close. I'm gonna show pictures of what it is when it's done. So I think it'll be pretty killer.
I'm see and like you're talking about also like using your legion's rules and kind of strengths,
Yeah, absolutely.
and whatnot, and like I don't know how many vehicles I'm actually going to have in my Thousand Sons force because it's all about the psychers, right? It's all about utilizing their powers and being able to use your squads and whatnot with them, right? Like, a despoiler squad, with I believe it's Corvidae getting the Hammer of Wrath 2 on the charge. That could be great. That's extra hits on top of their close combat, right? Stuff like that. It's so for me, it's kind of like starting with a lot of the infantry. Yeah, I have a dreadnought. Take some of my Sekhmet Terminator stuff like that, and then kind of start to fill out the gaps. Like my elites kind of are like full already, right? So it's seeing where I want to go with the army too, because right now I'm kind of mixed. I got some close combat, but I have some shooting as well, right? So it's like I can go either route, right? Especially with the psychic powers and stuff too. Like you can kind of jack up your units with certain things, or go towards specifics. So, but again, just going with the armies, going with the larger points. It's going to be interesting to see what people bring, right? The other day was the first time I went up against an actual tank, and it was like, ooh, I don't really have anything to take on that, right? So, but yeah, with the amount of players in the community, and of course with seeing stuff online, it's people's armies are definitely going to be different. We have like 3 or 4 Ultramarine players.
We got 4. There's 4 in
Yeah,
the league that actively come out and play on those meetup like gaming days, which is obscene. At the event, we had 5,
yeah.
and it was just like, wow.
So it's interesting. They all have a different variation, of the army, right? So, which is pretty cool. That's and I've noticed too, like the armies with their rules and rights of war and all that kind of stuff, and even warlord traits and reactions, advanced reactions. It almost seems like there's definitely a couple of different options of how to play them with those rules in mind, right? With those strengths in mind and stuff, right? Because I think every legion gets like 2 rights of war, but there's also like different aspects of the armies that you can roll with and actually make work, right? Which is pretty cool, which I thought was neat. And there's a lot of theme. I've noticed guys have been doing. There's a lot of theme to their armies. They have some kind of, I guess, little mechanic in their army that they've kind of come up with, and that's how they play their army, right? Then I've seen it with pretty much each of the forces that I've played against, and it's like, that's pretty cool, right? You know, I'm getting wrecked by bolters because he's hitting me on 2s, and he has tons of them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, right? So it's good to see. It's the flavors there. Lots of customizing for the armies and the miniatures, right? And there's just going to be more coming, which I think is it's about damn time, right? So, and not to mention, you still have a lot of old Forge World parts and stuff that you can bring in and use and combine with a lot of miniature, a lot of the new stuff, which is awesome too. So, yeah,
Absolutely. The nicest thing, because we kind of went off the rails a bit. The nicest thing
I went off the rails a bit.
About the league, the Slow Grow League, is so we've been actively going to different stores to play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like the traveling circus going from store to store. The big reason for that is to actually go and explore our local scene, support these local stores, right? Show up, play games, have fun. Some people have gone and they didn't even know some of these stores have existed yet. And, they're showing up and enjoying themselves, interacting, with the staff, other people who are playing there, and now that person knows he has a place he can go play wherever, right? Like, it's just really opening the wider community up, which is nice. I know we've hit Red Claw IPG. We're planning to try and make our way over to TAPS as well, and then obviously we'll go play at the Faux Hall, where we, play usually anyways. Thursdays they go and play 40K, 30K, pretty much whatever you want to come down and just play. So that's kind of the big push, right? It's just really get everybody mingling around, moving around different locations, on the north end, on the south side, wherever we can, just to open it up a little bit, right? Gives everybody a fair chance to come out and play as well. And we've had some really good success doing that, as I mentioned earlier. So it's quite nice.
I gotta give props to the stores for accommodating us too. They've been nothing but generous with allowing us to come in and take up their table space. Both IPG and Red Claw, they've got a large amount of space for games, and usually the days that we have gone to play, they've been pretty busy, game wise, right? Not only with us there at Horus Heresy, but there's other games that are happening too. So good thing for them. They get to see the game in action, and that there is a community and there's a lot of people that are playing. So they'll keep the product coming into the store, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple other slow grows throughout the city here as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. A lot of activity.
Everything's thriving.
Yeah, it is.
In terms of thriving, so some fan-made rules got dropped earlier, and this is a few days ago now. But essentially, again, I don't want to call it by the wrong name because there's a couple floating around. All right, so this is the Liber Centura, the Age of Darkness book that dropped, and I haven't gone through it all yet. It's still pretty fresh. This one apparently has some big key members in the community kind of working on a overarching community FAQ, errata rebalancing book, and I like the new units and some of the stuff that you can play narratively from the book, in terms of just adding a little bit of extra flair for people who really want to go very into the lore driven games. I don't mind the FAQs at all personally. From what I've seen so far, they seem decent. What I wasn't a big fan of, and I have to keep going through the book, right? This is just kind of my hot take on it. I wasn't a fan of some of the balancing issues or like point adjustments, just because everything's still so fresh and so new. It feels a little bit premature, especially when we're waiting for the books to come out. We're only a few months in really, and we've been still getting active support from GW. I know online there's been a big push for like a overall FAQ or something for the community, right? It's just
Yeah, I haven't really
I know you haven't looked at it too
dug
much.
my claws into it either myself. So
Yeah.
because I'm in that same boat. Like I'm just just playing it as is and just getting through the rules, having fun with it, having the games.
Yeah.
Time will come. We'll see what GW does.
Yeah.
And of course every other group and every community, and they're going to do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm sure we'll really look into it and see what it actually is all about. Because I guess the event that you're going to be going to, Kippers?
Yeah, the Kippers Melee with Boys of the Golden Throne, they're going to be using a portion of this for their event. So like I'm looking forward to seeing how it works and to like kind of going through and reading it. Right, I don't have anything against it yet, other than like I said, the rebalancing stuff is just because we got to see kind of what happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
But I'm interested to check it out, try it out, anyways. Especially when it's going to be for funner games, right? Especially like slow grow or like these narrative-driven events. Those are nice. For the match play side, I probably wouldn't go that route, but it depends what everyone also wants to play, right? Like you got to kind of roll usually with what the majority want for games, right? And at the end of the day, you just play with like-minded people and just be honest about what you want to play, right? Like, although check it out, see what you guys think. With that book itself, anyways, it's about a 54-page document that I was peeking at, which is a fair amount. There's a decent amount of stuff in there, which is pretty legit. So I'm definitely looking forward to tinkering through. I know I was talking with Chris at the One Slow Grow when he was saying, I can't remember the name of these specific rhinos for the Iron Warriors, where they can actually touch and you can get like a cover save from being with them, because they're the rhinos that combine to make like that defense line wall and stuff like that from the book. So there's some cool stuff in there, right? And if anything, I think it'll help spur GW to do exemplary units like they were. I do feel like Mornavel and King Fluff and the Australian 30k crew, like I know all those different groups contributed to us getting those exemplary units, which is nice. So who knows, maybe there's more in the works, some campaign books coming in the future like we've been kind of hearing about, which is nice. It's kind of interesting to see where it's all going to go, and you're pretty much on the cusp, right? Like, so yeah, as it changes, the little drip feed effect is working because the community's thirsty as hell for it, and it's all kind of just everyone's just waiting in anticipation for something to pop up. So it's nice that way for sure.
Now, I wonder if with all the releases that are coming out, right, all the generic Space Marine stuff, the Astartes stuff coming out,
Yeah.
once they get to a point where the majority of it is out, I wonder if they're going to start revisiting some of the Legion-specific, units, or if they're going to bring maybe some new Legion-specific units from kind of the fluff, into the mix, right? So I'm wondering that, because like that would be, for me, if GW started really going into Heresy with more plastic kits that are more available and whatnot, for specific legions, that might be a great selling point for them.
It could. I'd love for them to do like a full generic range first. Like, bring everything out, man. I want to see Storm Eagles. I want to see Fire Raptors in plastic, right? Make it a two-part kit kind of thing. Like, I'd love for all of it to port over, and then either leave, the Legion-specific stuff to Forge World, or then they could jump in plastic to try and get that stuff going. But there's so much generic shit that, like, Outriders, all the jet bikes, just for starters, the speeders. There's just too many goodies for everybody before we get too specific. So,
no, fair enough.
Too specific.
Yeah, but who knows? That might be down the pipe. A few years to go, and they never know. They might do it, but
no, it's true. You never know how it actually will boil down.
Yeah.
So, I know you haven't, and don't worry, we're not going to spoil anything yet. Next time we want to do a Echoes of Eternity review, and next episode there will be spoilers for sure. So I'll put a big warning on the thing before we get into it, because I've got 2 chapters left. All I'm going to say is wow. So that's about it on that. So I just wanted to throw that out there just to make sure everybody who wants to jump in for that one does, because I think there's going to be a lot of talk. So a lot of talk.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I mean, I've seen your guys' chat, and that's pretty much the reaction. Is the wow, like you just did.
It's it'll be
good. That's good.
It'll be interesting. In terms of just other new stuff that's been coming out, so we took a little peek at the Imperial Army book that we saw a few different things with, which was nice. Rumors are Thursday there's going to be something big popping up, and I don't know if that means we're going to see some Custodes action, or if we're going to see maybe a new kit. Maybe G-Dub's going to drop their FAQ. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
It's sky's the limit. You never know what's going to happen, right? It's quite interesting. So I guess as you're listening to this, we'll all find out tomorrow, essentially how it's all going to go down. Because
or if it's like a whole new range for like Solar Ox,
that'd be crazy. What if it's Leagues of Votan? 30-day edition.
No doubt, eh?
So I don't know. It's hard to say, right? I always
just speculate,
throw the wild shit out there, because you never know. Something might catch, and
probably a combination of it all.
Oh my!
That would be great. But if it's it's a big drop, well, let's hope so. Let's see what they got.
Yeah.
Because they've been just dropping tons of stuff, and it's like, holy, right?
Yeah,
Christmas is right. Christmas is around the corner, kind of thing, right? So, they have a few months until they get to that Christmas season where they just blast out these large army kits and stuff for that season, right? Yeah. So, rest of this month, next few months, couple months, see what comes out, see what happens, see what changes.
Exactly. Slide into this last portion here. So this one is for the new players. This is for the guys who are kind of still fresh, starting out in the game. Andy here has been doing a sprue and review video series on YouTube, where he's basically pulling out the models in the sprue, actually pointing at different weapon options, kind of giving you a little bit of a brief overview of what everything kind of does, which is nice. It's if you've never played before, you're not even sure where you want to get started. It's a great point to kind of just follow along. Even I know you've done the Cataphracti and the Tartaros Terminators, and the
MK6 armor,
MK6
new set. So I have a few more going probably do the Dreadnought, and then the Spartan as well.
Oh yeah.
Those can be kind of intimidating kits sometimes, especially if you're new to it. And the thing too with the kits is like I'll kind of spit out kind of just maybe some little tips or tricks that have come across my workbench, or that me and Bill have talked about, or somebody has pointed out to me, and like I can point out to anybody watching the the vid that hey, before you do this kind of thing, like think about, are your shoulder pads a different color than your main army for painting? Well, here's a trick, right? Stuff like that. Weapons, magnetizing, this and that. But yeah, just an overview of the kits, give you a nice view of them, especially if you haven't sunk any money into it yet, or you're not sure about the unit, maybe what's the difference between the units kind of thing. So I'll try to do that, and try to get a few more going here, plus any of these new kits coming. I think I have pre-ordered the Predator kit, I think was one of the kits that I pre-ordered. That'll be a cool one to go through and kind of explain things on that.
Yeah, and then we've got there's so many other stuff coming out. Rhino, and then Sicaran, Leviathans. There's a lot of stuff.
Get my hands on those too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then pretty much almost any kind of new heresy stuff that they're coming out with, I'll be trying to get my hands on and doing some of these little vids for them. So just a whole series, right? So again, like Bill said, if you're new and you're intrigued and you want to check it out, but you don't know what to get and you want some more info, please, come and check it out. It'll be a big help to kind of understand what's what. So,
and same goes for if you're new and you just have questions about stuff, be it with kits, loadouts, anything like that. Like, feel free to write us in. We've had some people kind of ask questions, but I think it'd be kind of cool almost to do like a question period, right? We could read the questions from last episode and go over them first thing, just to get back to people, right? Like live, like real questions, read them on the spot and see, do hot takes. I think that's kind of cool, because you never know, right? Everybody's always got stuff that pops up, and I think sometimes it's cool to have that interaction where you can actually give your opinion back and go from there. So be pretty sweet.
Definitely. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So we'll definitely we'll definitely keep a lookout on the comments and stuff, and try and make sure we keep everything down and get everyone's questions answered. And honestly, just keep your ear holes ready for some more heresy content, because we're pumping it out as quick as we can. And feel free to please leave us a review on the Facebook page, or even on Podbean. Like, share, give us a follow, check out the socials. Everything's on like the Linktree and Instagram. You can pretty much peek at everything, right? Because we want to interact with you guys, and kind of just show the hobby's just as busy and prosperous over here as it is probably on your local workbench, and you're probably toiling on models right now, so it's nice.
Yeah, and like one of our goals too is to try to expand on some of the community legions and stuff like that, right? Like we were working on Thousand Sons and Imperial Fists, right? And of course we have our other armies too, which we've showcased a lot on our Instagram and whatnot. But we also do want to like do some spotlights on some of these beautiful armies that are out there, and show you guys some pictures and stuff like that. The other new projects that we're going to work on. So, and I guarantee you that will be ongoing throughout our pretty much miniature adventure.
Yeah.
So,
sounds
and that's
like you guys will have to kill another thrall over there. You're losing the connection through the warp.
But overall, I think we'll have a lot more content and whatnot come out.
For sure. Well, yeah, that's a wrap this time. Thanks for jumping in and listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.